Good morning, everyone. My name is Phil Gallagher. I run Thraben University on this channel, and on Thraben University, the content is primarily Legacy D&T. Although I've been working with Red Prison recently. I want to write some articles on it. I think the archetype's very good right now. But the more I play it, the more I realize that there's some complicated lines and decision trees that aren't immediately obvious, and your cards interact with each other in some unusual ways. So let's look at what I played last night and talk about that just a touch, and then I'll talk about the deck that I'm going to play today, which is quite a bit different, even though it's the same archetype. I need to delete some of these deck lists so I'm not always scrolling through. Okay, so here's what I played last night. We played this to 2-4-1 finishes in a row. Let's see. So we lost to Painter, and we lost to Check Pile, and we beat Nickfit, Vile Smasher, Grixis Delver, Check Pile, Lands, Doomsday, Tess, and Ant. So all in all, a pretty good night. Painter's a hard matchup. There's not a lot we can do there. I expected to lose that, and like Check Pile's a fine matchup, but you know you can't always win everything. So you know 80%, you know 8-2. That's pretty darn good. So I like this deck list. Morning Echo, welcome. So this is a deck list that Zach Turgeon published. I forget where this exact list was from. Maybe it was his list from the Classic or something like that, because I think he won that. And this list looks pretty good. It takes advantage of Karn a little bit harder than the other deck I was playing it in, because it opts to play Great Furnaces as well, which have the downside that they can be wastelanded. But once a Blood Moon is in play, they're effectively mountains that are also artifacts, so it's just pure upside for Karn's minus ability, which creates a 0/0 colorless artifact construct token. And it gets +1/+1 for each artifact you control. So if you have a couple of Great Furnaces, it can get out of control really quickly. One thing I was a little worried with about Karn is that it plays poorly with Ensnaring Bridge, but you just kind of have to accept that sometimes you can't activate your Karn, and you just like play a Karn and pass, and that's an acceptable line given the situation. Because like if you draw a land and then you plus Karn and they give you another land, you don't actually like re-empty your hand for Ensnaring Bridge purposes. So that's something to keep in mind. Otherwise, I like a lot of what this deck is doing. I was already considering moving one Fiery Confluence to the sideboard because the card's great, but it's a little slow. Otherwise, I think the main deck and sideboard are very similar to what I was running before. I don't know how sold I am on these Sulfur Elementals. Other than that, it's pretty reasonable. Like, my sideboard had a couple more Grave Hate cards, and that's the big difference. So rather than hedge against Graveyard Hate decks like Red-Black Reanimator, he's hedged against Death and Taxes, which is a very tough matchup. So that's reasonable. And I'm just going to go ahead and jump directly into some games here. I've got quite a bit of free time this morning and this afternoon, although I do have evening plans, assuming I can get out of the house. There was some pretty rough flooding in the area yesterday, so that is not a guarantee. So I'll probably play Red Prison. Yeah, Spyglass is awesome, Echo. It's one of our few answers to things like Jace. And it also is like really good against decks like Lands and Turbo Depths. I've been very happy with Spyglass. I'd consider a third even. It's not always good, but when it's good, it matters a lot. Sorry, chat, I do apologize for this, but my opponent has ghosted me before. So this is, unfortunately, a necessary evil here. Yeah, whatever, good enough. Okay, so let's see. I can go City of Traders, cast Mox, pay for Mox, imprint Spirit Guide, turn 2 Bridge, or I can go cast Mox for nothing, let it get countered. Alright, so I need to get up to 4 mana to resolve the bridge. So I guess that means I do need the Chrome Mox. So I do love Trading Post Echo. I've played quite a bit with that deck. I should say like that deck in Standard specifically. Sorry, that was unclear. So I can go land Ensnaring Bridge, or I can go Magus of the Moon here, not play Ensnaring Bridge. If I go Magus of the Moon here, I get to keep my land, and then with one more land, I can play Ensnaring Bridge. So if I just go I can also just go Ensnaring Bridge, exile Spirit Guide in order to do that. And then I'll have 4 cards in hand that can attack, and I just guarantee that the bridge is in play. That's probably just better. Yes, I've played against this opponent before, and I have notes that they ghosted me. So I'm very confident in that fact. I guess I should stop talking about my hand if I know my opponent ghosts me, but it's hard to get out of that habit. Yeah, my opponent made, like, a play that made absolutely no sense unless they knew the exact contents of my hand. And I think it lost me the game. Or if it didn't lose me the game, it put me in a very bad situation. So this Chandra now means that any spells that I need to cast, I will be able to cast, because I'll always have a way to, like, even play a 4-drop through the taxation effect of the Chancellor. So now I've turned off Reanimate as a viable card for my opponent to cast. Easy. On the player draw. I was on the draw. Alright, so game 1 win with bridge. Morning, Kenneth Perry. Yeah, I'm just kind of doing something quick and easy this morning. I wanted to try out this deck list that has a whole bunch of Karns in it. Echo, that's so awkward to do, logistically speaking. I basically have to hide my entire screen. And if my opponent has the stream up, like, they get a look at my sideboard before I get to do anything. So chat, my hand is 2 Chandras, Chrome Mox, Bridge, Karn, and Mountain. Minifer, my opponent, has ghosted me in the past. So it's a necessary evil. It's really unfortunate because it's like so bad for stream experience to do so. So now I'm left with Chrome Mox, Karn, Mountain. Hand's pretty bad. And I'm just playing these out now in case my opponent has another discard spell. I can't really afford my mana sources to go when I've already taken a mulligan down this low. Alright, one more land and I just get a Karn, and I can start either pressuring my opponent or drawing into good stuff. Not 100% which I'll do if I just, like, do draw the land. Minifer, to be fair to our opponent there was an unmask immediately before you joined. No, sorry, I can't really unhide my graveyard. It's too close to my hand, and I don't want to, like, mess around with that anymore. When the opponent ghosts, it hurts the overall quality of the stream for a few minutes, and I do apologize for that, but when people are scumbags, it hurts the community, and that's just how it goes. Oh, I can pop out the graveyard. Sure, that I can do. Alright, so game 2, loss to Grizzlebrand. Let's try again. So I think I go Ancient Tomb, Chalice on 1, and then leave the Chrome Mox in my hand and put off the decision of what to do on turn 2 until next turn. Because I probably want to Blood Moon. But there's some world where I just want to, like, Chandra instead. So this will just be my opponent discarding some fatty. Bridge is awesome. And we're just going to go ahead and do this before my opponent has any colored mana sources. So now not only will they require a 2-mana reanimation spell, they will also require either Lotus Petal or Basic Swamp. They have both. Morning, Red Panda. That's kind of tilting. I have Chandra Spirit Guide Bridge in hand. So I didn't play Bridge in order to, like, try to lock out my opponent, and they just had the perfect 2 cards remaining to mess with me there. If there's justice in the world, I'll draw another bridge. Yes, happy Memorial Day, Minifer. And everyone else in chat as well. It's nice to have a day off to relax. NC Party Boy, thank you very much for your subscription. I appreciate your support. Maybe your support will help me draw the ensnaring bridge I need to beat this guy. I get one more draw step. I hate getting ghosted. It kind of like takes all the wind out of my sails, so to speak. Like, not only does it make the like streaming and viewing experience worse because I can't like talk about my hand and you can't see my hand, it also just like makes me lose all faith in the Magic community every time it happens. It's like we're not playing for the big bucks here. We're playing for like silly treasure chests that don't really matter that much. And now I can't draw a bridge as an out. It's unfortunate. So I have to draw like land or bridge this turn and the other the next. So I think I got one more sub just now, so I think that puts me to 40. My next sub goal is 50, and when I hit 50, I'm going to do like 4 bonus streams to celebrate. Alright, so game 3, I play Moon to lock out opponent. Opponent unmasks me to take bridge. I do think it's right to play the Moon over the bridge, just to clarify. It didn't work out, but in order for my opponent to go off that turn, they need to have Swamp or Lotus Petal, so that's probably 5, maybe 6 cards, plus 2-drop Reanimation spell, so they need to have like a 6 of and a 4 of, and then afterwards, in order to punish me, they have to get an Unmask, because the 1-mana discard is shut off. So I think by all accounts I took the right line, but it just did not work out. And that's fine. But to just go back to the sub count thing in a minute, for a second. I have sub and follower goals, so my next big sub goal is at 50, and then I do follower goals every 100, where every 100 I go and I play something fun to celebrate. I think my opponent is a D&T player, which means this hand is not particularly good. But it's not like this goes back. If I follow 150 more times, does that count? Yeah, sure, why not? Ooh, not D&T. It's like some sort of big Eldrazi deck. Please don't play a Thought-Knot Seer. That's fine. So do I Magus or do I Ensnaring Bridge? Because I only get one of them. How does my opponent win if I Ensnaring Bridge? They cast smaller Emrakul, or no, sorry, smaller Ulamog, and they exile my bridge. So bridge is not an auto win, so I should probably just shut down their mana production with Magus. And then they can still, like, untap Grim Monoliths and get their mana-wise over the course of a couple of turns. But that's probably my best play. Okay, so Ugin can get rid of Magus. Yeah, that's true. But if I just go like bridge go, I'm down to one land. I have no clock in play. I guess it can buy a lot of time and force them to have exactly Ulamog though. Like Magus is normally very good against this deck, but this triple artifact mana opener is rough. It's my inclination that I should play Magus, and I probably have a couple of turns to find a bridge. Or sorry, to find lands for bridge. That's unfortunate. I made that Vesuva come in untapped. Super punished. My Magus has indeed helped them by untapping their lands twice. Ugh. Although honestly, if I played the bridge, like these Thought-Knot Seers would still be attacking. So it's not like it was that big of a difference in the grand scheme of things. Now I have to chump block with a Magus here. And my opponent gets to untap a Monolith so they can cast something really big and dumb. Yeah, whatever this is. Yeah, okay. This one was not happening. 100%. I could not have won this game no matter which combination of plays I took. Alright, so we were on the play, and we lost. So game one, lost to triple mana rock, turn one. Alright, so Fiery Confluence can come in to destroy mana rocks. Scab Clan Berserkers are probably reasonable. This is the pile of stuff that I'd consider. Chalice is probably abysmal against this deck. Those can go out. Tyrannosphere is probably not good either. Then I'm a little bit less sure about cuts from here. The Fiery Phoenix. I'm going to guess that you play a deck that Red Prison's pretty good against. If I were to take an old guesserino there. Okay, you'd leave those in the sideboard. Okay, that's reasonable. I think I bring one to fill things out. Like one Scab Clan is potentially better than P and K. My thought was that like this is good against them just like vomiting mana rocks, but those mana rocks might come down before the Scab Clan Berserkers anyway. Oh, Zach, this is you. Yeah, I really like your list. I'll show you what I've been playing after this. I've been meaning to try your list out. God, this hand's bad. So I can Ancient Tomb, Chrome Mox, Imprint, Chaos Warp, play Bridge, try to draw a land or a red card in order to play Karn on turn 2. So this is essentially a mull to 5 where these Chrome Moxen are dead. It does force my opponent to play either a Planeswalker or an Ugin, or a Planeswalker or an Olamog to exile this. This probably needs to go back. I probably need to find something a little more proactive. This hand's just like so awkward. So the thing is that if I go like Chrome Mox, imprint this, play this, bridge, I'm left with 3 cards in hand. If I make a construct with Karn, oh god, this hand is so awkward. Yeah, Zach, that's what I'm thinking about. What if I like just go like Ancient Tomb, Chrome Mox, imprint, Chaos Warp, pass. That way my opponent can't like magically somehow turn 1 Thought-Knot Seer me, and then I can play turn 2 Karn and just like start ---- go to town, and then play these out as just like things to pump the team. I'm gonna keep this. So Chaos Warp answers big stupid fatties, and it also answers Planeswalkers. And also in the category of big stupid fatties is Merit Lodge. Ooh, this is opponent's second very strong opener in a row. This can be like a turn 1 Thought-Knot Seer. Nope. I wish I did not have to imprint this Fiery Confluence so that I could blow these up, but I don't think I can take a turn off doing nothing here. And I'm not going to play the Chrome Mox just as a buff for the construct, because there's a very real chance that I'll draw a red card that I'll want to put under this. Oh my god, so much mana. It says 3, 6, 7, 8 this turn. That means they get a fatty boom boom of their choice. Except for like the super high end stuff. That's a little bit annoying. Because Ugin can just like lightning bolt the construct. So I get super punished for not playing Chrome Mox for no value again for the second day in a row. Yes, that was the exact scenario for playing Chrome Mox for no value. So now I can play a bridge. I play a bridge that turns this into a 4/4, and then I can't attack with it on the next turn. Can I beat? I don't think I can beat an Ugin if I just play bridge. So I don't think I can do that. I think now I have to cast this for no value. And I'm still pretty far behind. Yep. My Chaos Warp is under the Ugin. So now I really need to draw a Sorcerer's Spyglass. Okay. Yeah, Zach, this is not feeling good for me. So now my opponent gets to ultimate Ugin, and then presumably I'll just die. Is there any merit in just playing a bridge? If I just play a bridge, I can't attack the Ugin anymore. I don't think they're gonna whiff on a draw 7. So I either need to like play bridge and accept the fact that the Ugin ultimating probably just beats me anyway, but stop further creatures from killing me. We'll play a bridge. I'm just thinking, like, if my opponent, like, ultimates Ugin and then does something like double Thought Knots here and I lose both bridges, I can't possibly win from here. Whereas this way, if they just draw, like, a bunch of somewhat annoying things to put in, I've got a chance. God. This is draw 7 with Kozilek, draw 7 more with Ugin, and then crap permanents. And the Kozilek's counter ability is probably relevant. What? My opponent did not... Why? Ugin was at 11, so, like, you still keep an Ugin and you get to ultimate? I'm not complaining. I 100% am not complaining. I'm just confused. Yeah, sure, they can bolt me to death with Ugin over the next 5 turns, and that's fine, but... Oh yeah, at this point, my opponent can do whatever the hell they please. I mean, they're beating a bridge on board. You can have a Voltaic Key. Aside from the thing that's beating me, they don't have anything that can beat me. Walking Ballista is also something that could kill me. So they could go like, what does this Abrade do? Not really anything. I guess I can just hang on to it for now. There's no, like, one piece of artifact mana that I really need to take off the board. I guess I can take out this Thran Dynamo and slightly decrease the amount of mana that my opponent has to work with. I thought it was just going to get countered, too. So the way Kozilek reads is you can discard a spell with converted mana cost X to counter a spell with converted mana cost X. There's that Olamog. Opponent, you can have a City of Traders. So next turn, I will die. My opponent will cast Exile Double Bridge, and that's that. So Party Boy, you might be mixing it up with another one of the Eldrazi's that, like, says you can't cast even spells or odd spells or something like that. How bad is this for me? Walking Ballista for 6. So my opponent can just, like, Ballista me out. Okay. Void Winnower, yeah, that's what I was thinking of. Alright, so game 2, lost to Ugin. So while I'm waiting, Zach, I'll show you what I have been playing. So this has been my deck list in the past. I've been pretty happy with it. I got 2 4-1s last night, and I think a 4-1 the previous time I streamed with it as well. I'd been considering moving 1 Fiery Confluence to the sideboard, and I'd also been considering playing 1 more Trinosphere. The sideboard has felt pretty good. I like all of this stuff here. I don't know how comfortable I am playing 0 Graveyard Hate, like you are here, but I understand that. Like, you kind of get a choice of, like, do I want to hedge against Reanimator a little bit, or do I want to hedge against D&T a little bit? And I feel like you made the opposite choice I did. This is just miracles, right? Although he has been playing around with lands a little bit recently. If this is lands, then imprinting this Blood Moon on turn 1 kind of sucks. But Chalice on 1 is, like, sometimes oddly good against lands, in that you shut off their gambles, their crop rotations, their explorations, their mana bonds. So turn 1 Chalice, turn 2 Trinosphere, turn 3 Bridge would be very good if my opponent's on lands, but it looks like it is miracles. Yeah, the list has felt very good. I don't feel like there's anything there in terms of deck building that shouldn't be there. And I feel like I have all the tools for various matchups. Or at least enough tools for various matchups, I should say. I still feel like Miracles is pretty hard. No, Alex. As a generic blue fetch land, it doesn't necessarily have to be Miracles, but I'm kind of familiar with my opponent and what decks they play. I've been paired against him a handful of times, and my opponent plays Miracles a lot. Okay, so here's how this works. Essentially, the thing that's written in the top right corner of your card, that is the converted mana cost of that card. So, if you go and cast a Chalice on 1, and your opponent casts a 1-drop, its converted mana cost is 1, but in order to pay for the spell, they have to pay 3. I could not have asked for a better card. So just, like, take a look at this, right? I need to pay X, so I pay X is 2, and now Trinosphere makes me increase its total cost up to 3. Yes, Chad, this was a very good draw. This was, like, probably arguably best draw in deck outside of, like, a Planeswalker. I mean, even if they do Terminus us, I'm still pretty far ahead, only getting further ahead. So I get to kill the Jace, deal them 1, play a Karn, Karn can't be countered, start plussing Karn. And we're gonna plus Karn because it's like super, super likely that I just get Terminus right here. What's the other revealed card? Another Chrome Mox, okay. Yeah, I have been drawing like pretty much perfectly. Yep. Just absolute god draws. So I will poop a 4/4. I will then produce a Blood Moon, taking my opponent off of blue mana because of how they fetched. Oh my god. Echo, I'm sorry, I cannot do that. And Red Panda, would you send me that list? I did not see that. Game 1. I draw like a god. That's what goes into the notes there. Berserkers are great. Spyglass is good. Chaos Warp on Jace is probably fine. Zach, do you Sulfur Elemental here just as like an uncounterable 3/2? Is that good enough? Okay. So what's your approach to this matchup? Because I've been cutting my 8 moons to bring stuff in, but I was talking to some of the Miracles players, and they suggested that a lot of the free wins you can get against this deck come from Blood Moons. I was a little skeptical about that. Oh, okay, I didn't consider Mentor. That's really important, actually. Alright, so you cut Magus and Bridge. Okay. I had been doing like -4 Magus, -4 Moon for cards when I was doing it. And then do you just like round out by cutting 2 Fiery Confluences? It's good reach, but now that it doesn't hit the Planeswalkers, I guess it's like lost a good amount of utility. Okay. So what does this hand do? This hand does nothing right now. Well, I guess not nothing. It produces a turn 2 Rabblemaster or Scab Clan Berserker with the other one as follow-up. This is aggressive. So I go Chrome Mox, imprint this. If I draw a Soul Land, I go Rabblemaster turn 1. It would be soft to like Swords to Plowshares plus Snapcaster Mage. I'm gonna keep it. Yeah, I kind of feel like this hand is not overly exciting, but is very playable. Now it's exciting. I want to make them have this Swords to Plowshares right now, or take a bunch of damage. I guess I can also force. Ooh, that just worked. Wonderful. I could have played this in the other order to represent more damage, but I didn't exactly expect this to just work. If I play out the Rabble Master and my opponent goes Brainstorm Terminus, they take a decent amount of damage. Like, they take 4 from Scab Clan Berserker triggers, 3 from Scab Clan Berserker, 1 from Goblin. So that's probably acceptable. You think don't play anything out and just, like, make them answer it first? Okay. No white source there. What do they have that's red that they specifically want to cast? Huh. Ah. I see. I wonder if it's correct to play a post-combat Rabble Master here. Opponent hasn't cantripped. If I play this... it decreases their ability to just jump block with a couple of random monks. Like, doing this post-combat means that, like, a Force of Will wouldn't give them a chump blocker or a mentor. I'm going for this. If opponent has to, like, Brainstorm or Jace Brainstorm in order to set up a Terminus, then that's 4 damage from that alone. This will also clog up the board a little bit more, which I'm A-okay with. God, I love Scab Clan Berserker so much as a card. I really want to play a deck that has, like, both Eidolon and Scab Clan Berserker in it. I've been sort of, like, fantasizing over this, like, heavy red splash D&T deck for a while that uses both. But I just haven't gotten the, like, mana math to work out well yet. Okay, so nothing might just be right. If I attack with both and my opponent plays any cantrip, then I lose both of my creatures, and that seems bad. I can just, like, do nothing, force my opponent to answer my board or die, and then play Karn when I hit one more land. D&T means death and taxes. A normally mono-white control deck, although sometimes it splashes red for Magus of the Moon and Pia and Kiran Nalar. And playing out like one more Scab Clan Berserker just extends so far into Terminus, which is one of their best ways to deal with my board currently. I don't think I do anything. I think I just pass. Well, yeah, okay, the Goblin attacks no matter what. Okay, so you all, like, attack with Rabblemaster because it forces them to play a spell, and then no matter what, they take 2? Or it's just a chump block? Okay, that's fair. The Rabblemaster isn't the card that's winning the game here anyway, so if my opponent, like, brainstorms and trades a Monk token for a Rabblemaster, that's not the end of the world. Well, it can't go that wrong. Honestly, Party Boy, that doesn't really matter that much, right? This is a bit annoying, though. Oh, God. That's so bad to see. That means my next 2 threats are getting countered. Holy shit. If they draw Jace, they draw Jace, but naming Arid Mesa means they can't fetch a basic plans in case I, like, Blood Moon and that becomes relevant. Since I'm already probably not beating their board anyway. Okay, this is good. This is good. So this Chrome Mox probably resolves. I'm going to cast a Scab Clan Berserker, and it represents lethal damage, so it has to get countered. Oh, nope. So opponent drew a Swords to Plowshares or a Snapcaster Mage in their one draw. That's super unfortunate. Guess what's not getting countered? It's Sulfur Elemental. There is some desire to, like, not play this here so that it can't be, like, Jace bounced. But the value is pretty darn good here. It prevents a lot of damage. The next question is, do I block? No. Oh, come on! Let me have it! Let me have it! So this gets rid of the counterspell. Yes, that is 3 Swords to Plowshares in a row. All of them were very necessary. Well, okay. The one on the Scab Clan Berserker wasn't necessary because they could have counterspelled, but it was insane. I also think it's potentially a mistake to cast this Ponder, because my opponent has Force of Will. That means one of the other cards in their hand either has to be a blue card or they found a blue card. Okay, that's lethal. That was brutal. I'm not complaining. Like, I drew like a god game 1. I get no rights to complain. I did not expect to lose that game, though. Yeah, I agree. Counterbalance is a very, very poor card against us. Turn 1 Chalice, turn 2 Karn with any red card. I will keep this. There's an argument to be made to just go like Mountain Go, Mountain turn 2 play Chalice, turn 3 Karn. But I think I like turn 1 Chalice. Like, you play this deck to just, like, jam and make them have it. And giving them the chance to cast absolute 0 cantrips is probably very strong. You just Mountain Go. Just, like, valuing the ability to curve out over everything else. I think either line is very good. Okay, so if my opponent is on a mulligan and they scry to the bottom, how does that change my decision? If my opponent's hand is weak, do I give them 1 chance to cantrip and then, like, guarantee Haymaker into Haymaker, or do I do something a little bit risky that has a better chance of crippling their opener? I am leaning towards Chalice. but I don't know. I think both lines are very good. This is like playing Chalice is a worse long-term use of my resources, but a better short-term use of my resources. I'm gonna jam. We'll see where this decision tree goes. Okay. Okay, I'll do that, sorry. Alright, Force Pitch Chase. Alright, EE for 0. Good and bad news for you, opponent. The good news is, I'm not making a Construct token this turn. The bad news is, I have a Planeswalker. It's going to be really interesting as to whether or not my opponent cracks this EE now, because if they leave the EE around, it can answer potential Karn tokens. This construct will be a 1/1. If I minus again, I can turn it into turn 2. Play Chrome Mox, turn it into a 3/3. Opponent doesn't have more lands, so just like producing bodies is good. This also means that like a Snapcaster Mage can't be flashed in end of turn to just go and start pressuring the Karn. I think with the Karn minus plan, I can get very aggressive. Very aggressive, in fact. Like, if I wanted, I could go, like, Karn minus again next turn, play Scab Clan Berserker, and Chrome Mox, swinging for 5, 6, 7, put my opponent to 12, and not give them very many chances to cantrip. Alright, that's a Mentor. Ooh. Ooh. So I probably get to put my opponent in a trap here, right? I'm going to play Mountain. I Chrome Mox for no value. What do I do? So my options are Chrome Mox and Karn minus attack in. Or just like Chrome Mox attack in. Or just attack in with the 1/1. Try to bait the opponent. All my lines are pretty sweet here. I want to get aggressive. If I Karn minus, my Karn probably still doesn't die because I have this Sulfur Elemental. So I think I'm okay with that. I think the bait play is probably overly ambitious. Council's Judgment. Okay, so this is going to probably be like Council Judgment, remove this construct, attack Karn. Oh, nope, just straight up vote for Karn. That's fine. Opponent just says yay in the chat. I kind of like playing... Okay, so my opponent is like legitimately saying yay, like playing around stuff sometimes works. I'm all about the murder death parade right now. Let's go. Alright. Opponent can draw a Terminus or a Supreme Verdict and get back to an equal board state with them maybe slightly ahead. Otherwise, I've just got it. All right, Zach, I see why you're playing the Sulfur Elementals now. They're really good here. And Miracles is kind of hard. All right, folks, I'm going to take 30 seconds and run to the restroom, and then we'll try to redeem ourselves in this league. All right, so for anyone who's not familiar with me, hello, my name's Phil Gallagher. I run ThrabenU University, a site dedicated to legacy D&T. Although we're not playing that today, I've been playing around with Red Prison quite a bit recently. I'm going to be writing a few articles on it in the coming weeks here. As part of my goals for Thraben University for the previous year, I said I'd write a few articles on some new deck after gaining proficiency with it. And I think Red Prison is very much in the spirit of the decks that I enjoy, and that most of my followers would enjoy as well. Let's battle. Zach, I might take you up on that, or I might send you the first draft and just kind of have you look over them. Thank you for that offer. Well, this is a hand. My opponent played Infect in 2015. I'm gonna keep this hand. So I think I'm gonna go. If I go Mountain Spirit Guide Chalice, I can't play Karn on turn 2, even with a Soul Land. If I go Soul Land Chalice, then I can go Mountain Spirit Guide Karn on turn 2. Hand's great, word great. Yes, exactly. Night, Echo. Ah, that just worked. Do I want to Karn minus? If I Karn minus, I'm only creating a 2/2, but I can just go like Karn minus, and then be attacking with 6 power. That's probably fine. Although if my opponent can't Lightning Bolt the Karn down, I'm gonna get aggressive. Yeah, I wanted to play around Wasteland, and I think the only thing that, well, I shouldn't say that, but like, since unless I draw another Great Furnace, I'm not really punished for this line. I think it's potentially better. Okay, all right, that's fair. Yeah, like, if that was just like Wooded Foothills go out of lands, it would have been super awkward. I agree. Misplay on my end. So I can attack for 8, Fiery Confluence my opponent down to 6, and then shut off one of their fetch lands, or I can just play Chalice on 2. Chalice, if I play Chalice on 2, it means I'm attacking for 10, and then Confluence is lethal the next turn. So I think I like that. But I'm going to Karn plus first to see if I draw into some cheap artifact that I want to play. Magus and Rabblemaster. Ooh. Zach, I am in 100% agreement with you now. So what deck is my opponent playing? Wooded Foothills suggests not Grixis Delver. Could be Infect, like Trop, Misty, Foothills all fit into Infect. Well, Wooded Foothills would be a little weird for Pile, unless they're the version that plays more copies of green sources for Tireless Tracker, in which case the Wooded Foothills could be a fetch. That doesn't make a lot of sense, though, right? Because you just, like, play more copies of Misty, because Misty could get your island and your forest. I might just ship back the main deck. I think my choices are either ship back the main deck or bring in a small amount of removal, like maybe 2 Abrades, in case my opponent is like a Delver or an Infect deck. I don't know that I want to go like Abrades plus Kozilek's Return, but doing something like plus 2 Abrade and like trim a Fiery Confluence and a Bridge would be pretty reasonable. Yeah, I guess Chaos Warp can't be bad. That's fair. I could also just, like, bring Scab Clan in the dark. I've been really impressed with this card. But I think just a Braid. I don't want to over-sideboard in the dark. I think that's a big mistake that you can make when playing a lot of decks. Is just, like, I boarded in 10 cards because they're potentially good, and then you take out too much of your main deck core. Turn 1 Chalice again. Awesome. I will take a backup Chalice. The card's that good. Especially since, like, my opponent just, like, completely folded to it game 1. So now I can beat, like, Daze on a Chalice. Okay, Infect it is. I will pay for this Daze. I think. Otherwise, I can just Chalice again next turn, but if I stop my opponent from cantripping, it really decreases the chance that I'll just get, like, Invigorate Berserk killed, and gives me time to set up a bridge. I think I have to pay for the Daze. There's a very good chance I am just, like, stone cold dead, but this helps a lot. This shuts off Berserk, so my opponent still can pump with, like, Invigorates or Become Immense, but otherwise I've slowed them down a lot. That's a very good draw. I'm going to go ahead and play a backup one of these. Partially because my life total doesn't matter, partially to get it out of my hand, partially in case they, like, destroy one. Partially because of Karn. God, please crop rotation. Please crop rotation away your tropical island. Ew, that's very good. That's very, very good. Like, that's essentially a cantrip that gets around a Chalice. I'm gonna go ahead and do this now. Take no chances. I think, like, a lot of times waiting and trying to, like, deal with Infect on their terms just leads to your death. So shortly, I can just, like, try to empty my hand for for Ensnaring Bridge, and then ride out the game that way. I really wanted to see that sad crop rotate. Like, that sad crop rotate into concede would be amazing. So this bridge doesn't matter yet, but it presents a great threat to my opponent. I kind of wonder if they have a Spell Pierce, since they didn't do anything with their turn, not even, like, attack with an Inkmoth Nexus. Yeah, so, like, if I hit a mountain, like, Chandra Plus deals 2 damage, then Fiery Confluence hits my opponent, and they're almost dead. And another Chandra Plus will just, like, Okay, yeah, so that doesn't matter. So, like, why didn't they attack? What were they holding up then? Did they just hold up Spell Pierce because they forgot about Chalice? Like, that's reasonable. Okay, that's not bad. It's not quite good enough, but it's not bad. Hey, there we go. That's fine. I'll try the same thing again next turn. Yeah, so next turn I won't even mess around with Chandra because, like, it could expose Fiery Confluence to a Daze. I'll just, like, Fiery Confluence their Dome. Alright, do they have double Invigorate? No. It needs to be Force of Will. Okay, it is Force of Will. The game continues. Quicksmith Rebel? Quicksmith Rebel's fine. I like it more when I'm playing more copies of Trinisphere, though. Just, like, curving Trinisphere into that just feels dirty. I've got to be, like, so close to dead, right? Like, a land means that they could, like, become immense kill me. I'm dead to double Invigorate. Okay, so now I can empty my hand. I can go land, Chandra plus for mana, Ensnaring Bridge. And then Seal doesn't beat that. Oh my gosh. Alright, I guess they have to have something. What's a life total? This game's great. Okay, okay. That's good. That blows up a bridge. The seal can get the second one. That is not good. Do I play this mountain? The seal's probably eating the bridge no matter what. So I probably don't, because holding this one card back might prevent my opponent from going for it. I think I should play it. If I play it, I lose the city, and if I draw a 4-drop, I have to take damage in order to cast it. I think I'm right here. I'm not gonna play it. Like I'm at 4. My life total is super relevant. Well, so here's the thing, Goblin War Chief. My opponent is going to like seal this bridge anyway. Because like 1 Invigorate is lethal here. So like if my opponent has an Invigorate, it's just like I'm just dying. Yeah. Well, they have that seal on board, so they're 100% like going and attacking in. Just make a small mana bluff there. Maybe make them not go for it. Oh man, are they gonna like cast a Berserk because they forgot about Chalice? That'd be sweet. They remembered Chalice. Either that or they have become immense. And they're thinking about going for it, but then thinking that I actually have the Abrade that I'm bluffing. Alright, so game 2 lost to triple Force of Will. That's fine. Now we can sideboard properly. So Kozilek's return, Chaos Warp can come in, this bridge can stay in. I normally board Rabble Masters out against most creature decks, but Infect doesn't really have good blockers. So Rabble Master can probably stay. Kind of like trimming the Fiery Confluences. It's a sweeper, like it's technically removal, but it's like too slow to matter for this matchup. I also kind of want to trim some other 4-drops. Like, I could see going down on some of this. I could trim 2 Karn and then be down to like 6 5-drops instead of 12. That's pretty good. You don't like it at all? Just because, like, my goal is to get Hellbent and hide behind bridge? I could, like, play a Confluence over the Karn. And just leave myself with a sweeper. Karn does produce blockers, that's fine. But it's only blockers for Glisten or Elf, really, right? Because it can't block Blighted Agent or Inkmoth Nexus. Huh. So this is turn 2 Chalice, turn 3 Blood Moon or Trinisphere. If they play a turn 1 Infect creature, this hand's pretty soft to it. This is borderline. I don't think this is a snap mull. I think this is a, like, consider this for a minute. I can go, like, if they don't play a turn 1 Infect guy, this hand can do things. But it's probably better to, like, go for it and find a hand that is faster. Yeah, a daze will destroy me. A Force of Will is fine. I'm fine with that resource trade. A daze is devastating. All right, so what's better? What am I mulling to if I mull this? Anything that can produce one of these cards on turn 1 is better. Or this as well. I think I mull this. I think it's very close. I think it's very, very close. This hand is just better. And I think I go Mountain Spirit Guide Chalice so that I can Magus on turn 2, keeping both of my lands. Okay, no, I guess it's still true if I do it the other way, right? Because I just go like City, Spirit Guide, Magus. What's my scry? I don't need Chromux, that'll go on the bottom. Ooh, you snap off Magus here. Okay, if I Magus turn 1, then I can still Chalice turn 2? Alright, I'll buy that. They had Force. Magus, you're just a touch late to the party. I think I'm going to Chalice this turn and then Abrade the following turn. I don't need to play around Daze since my opponent just has basic Forest. And I don't feel like I'm in immediate danger of dying if I resolve a Chalice on 1. No, I don't want to play another Magus now that my opponent has a basic forest. My opponent would need, like, triple Invigorate as the remaining 3 cards to kill me. I could sandbag for a turn here and just play out Great Furnace, so that any 4-drop I draw is live. It would also play Magus around Daze. But if I just play Magus, it prevents my opponent from Blighted Agenting, or doing like a crop no, they can't crop rotation. But I'm just gonna pass. I'm gonna play around Daze while also setting up my mana better for if this Magus dies somehow. We'll see if I get punished. Hydroblast. Why does everyone have Hydroblast? That's the 3rd Hydroblast I've seen. I guess people are like finally starting to respect Red Prison as a deck. Do I need to play this land first? So I can play Chalice for 2 and beat Double Daze. Spell Pierce doesn't matter unless they did something weird, like a 2-mana spell that got rid of Chalice, and then they could Spell Pierce and Daze. I don't know how I'm gonna play this. No, I'm gonna Chalice on 2 and shut off Blighted Agent and potentially some other removal spells as well. Seal, and there's also like one other stupid card that I can never remember the name of. And for whoever told me to put Chalice on 3. Chalice on 3 kind of, like, shuts down most of my good cards. And I'm just gonna cast this. I feel like I've got this one locked up, so I'm just gonna, like, not take any chances by keeping cards in my hand. Yes, mono unbeatable cards. That is correct. Excuse me. I'm just gonna take my emblem here. Yeah. Confirmed best burn deck. What? Fish Splash Black for Deathrite Shaman? I don't think they realistically had a kill, given, like, 2 chalices, 2 bridges. Alright, I do not know what my opponent is playing. But I have a turn 1 Chalice, turn 2 Blood Moon. So that's a keep. Easy. Opponent mulligan to 4. Jeez. I will probably turn 2 Trinisphere over turn 2 Blood Moon. Like, my opponent has no mana sources currently. I have a Chalice on 1. If I play a Trinisphere, like, what are they supposed to do to win? So I think I play a Chalice on 0, land, Trinisphere. I'll need to draw lands to get out from under my own Trinisphere. But that's probably fine. Alternatively, I can just go, like, Rabble Master and put them on a 4-turn clock. I think that this gives them the least amount of time to draw out of a bad situation. And then if I draw any soul land, I have amazing follow-up plays. I'm going to operate under the assumption that my opponent is a combo deck of some nature, and I'm going to bring in Scab Clan Berserkers for something. I don't know what that something is yet, but I want these in the deck. And then based on what I see from them, I can decide whether or not I need any of this other stuff. If there's some sort of Reanimator deck, I'm still going to want to have my bridges. I probably cut like some number of four drops, like Karns and Fiery Confluences, in order to play the Scab Clan Berserkers. I'm going to leave one of each in the deck for the variety, I think. Nah. I think in the dark, play like the Karn's probably better, because like Karn minus is a good clock if I have like a double soul land opener. And that could let me like keep a hand that was like Chalice and Karn and 2 soul lands that otherwise might be kind of weak. Ooh, okay. Like, considering goblins if they're storm, then keeping some fiery confluences in could be okay. Ooh, is that better or worse than what I just said? Probably about the same. They could also be like some fair deck, in which case having the confluences can. Oh man, my opponent mulled again. Well, I'm gonna keep this hand. It produces a turn 1 Blood Moon. I don't know if that's good, but that's what I'm gonna do. Alright, unmask, target me. Well, you can have the Spirit Guide, I guess, and then I don't get to turn 1 Moon. Alright, so they just took my clock. This Blood Moon doesn't hinder them very much, but I'm still going to cast it. It decreases their ability to cast multiple spells in a turn, and it will prevent me from taking infinite damage off of this Ancient Tomb. If I don't cast the Blood Moon, alright. This is bad. The Goblin token has to attack into Grizzlebrand. So I can still play towards a bridge. So I'm not 100% dead. Hey, hey! Good guy, opponent, giving us back our Rabble Master. You're right. I don't think I attack with both. If I attack with both, he just blocks the Rabble Master, and then I lose my better creature. Whereas if I hold this back and my opponent decides to hold back a Grizzlebrand to just keep drawing cards, I get out ahead here. The way I did it, like, now I'll get to actually attack with this. I don't think it matters, because, like, my opponent, like, 100% is going to, like, cast another discard spell on me. Alright, Iona on red's bad. Sire is worse. Okay, now I'm dead. Because even if I get a bridge, I won't be able to empty my hand because of the Iona. Alright, so game 2 loss to Grizzlebrand. So now I'll probably want the Chaos Warp to answer some big idiot. And now it's the argument of, like, is Karn ---- better than, like, having the ability to Fiery Confluence their dome after they've Grizzlebranded? Both cards are very slow, and not the primary cards that are going to be winning this matchup. I think I want Karn. It's just, like, another way to clock my opponent very quickly. And I think I actually want the other Karn over the P and K, maybe. And I could even trim some amount of this Blood Moon stuff and consider, like, another Fiery Confluence over a Moon. Moon can still get them when I'm on the play, though. Alright, so you go Moons out for Berserkers in. Okay. So that would mean leave these. And leave this. This is no turn 1 play. It has turn 2 Rabble Master as a decent clock, but I'd rather do something on turn 1 on the play. This is no good. This is great. There is an argument to not play Chalice of the Void on turn 1, so that I can go Great Furnace, pass, turn 2, draw land, Chalice of the Void, pass, turn 3, Karn or Berserker. but leaving my opponent unchecked to do anything they want is probably weak. I'm still going to Chalice. I'll Chalice and then, like, awkwardly leave my City of Traders. So now they'll need, like, land, Lotus Petal. Okay. Alright, do you have Exhume? Or Animate Dead? You have an Animate Dead. Alright. So now I basically only care about Unmask, because I can beat this Grizzlebrand just by, like, playing Ensnaring Bridge. The Fiery Confluence is pretty good. It means if my opponent gets impatient and draws 7, I just have them dead. I can also just choose to, like, nug them with Fiery Confluence here and prevent them from drawing an additional 7. So I can play this Karn in plus, because, like, I'm still, like, way out of Ensnaring Bridge range for Grizzlebrand. So that's probably my best line, and, like, try to find another lock piece to kind of solidify things. Ooh, yeah, see, like, another bridge is insane. Now I'm just, like, working to get Hellbent. Yeah, and now I have lethal with this Fiery Confluence if my opponent doesn't use a discard spell. And, like, I even have mana to pay for a Chancellor if my opponent somehow produces one. I could even have mana to pay for 2, actually. Because I could go, like, minus the Karn, get this land that's here. Or no, it's an Ensnaring Bridge there. So this has to take the Confluence. In which case I go and play a second bridge. And then their outs are few. I think that should have taken the Spirit Guide. Scabclan Berserker isn't doing anything anytime soon. Okay. So my opponent is forcing me to put one of my creatures onto the battlefield. It's not going to be Rival Master, it's going to be Spirit Guide. Because if I draw something I can't cast, then... Okay, no, I guess I could put in Rabble Master. And then, like, whatever I draw, I can cast it, but I can't, like, necessarily do whatever I draw plus Spirit Guide. I think I put in Guide. Okay, alright, my opponent is forcing me to put in my Rabble Master. Awkward. I don't want to give my opponent 7 cards, so I'm going to play this Karn. So I think I go Karn minus, second Karn, Karn minus, and then the following turn I can get my second bridge down. I do respect my opponent playing to their outs very well, though. Ugh. I don't really know why my opponent brought in Stronghold Gambit versus me. I have so many creatures. Six damage to each opponent. Okay, we redeemed that league. We started out 0-2 and then won out in order to get there. Okay, this list felt pretty good. Versus what I was doing previously, it's more Planeswalker heavy in the main deck, and more geared to beat D&T and Miracles in the sideboard. We still cobbled together a win versus Reanimator, which is nice because, like, my build had 4 fairies. So this build would be a little softer to something like lands because you can't interact with Life from the Loam at all. But that's probably okay. Like, this might be a decision that just, like, increases the overall win percentage more than the fairies would. Alright, folks, so this is lunchtime for me. After lunch, I'm likely to come back and play some more. If my roommate's around and I can borrow some cards, I'll likely play this Mentor Stoneblade deck that someone donated to have me stream. If that doesn't happen today, that'll happen on Wednesday. Otherwise, I might just jam some more Red Prison because it's super, super fun and enjoyable. Ooh, when you played fairies, you didn't bring them in versus lands. That is really good information to know. Fairy had been doing work for me, but I could see why you wouldn't. Like, I conceptually understand that. Alright, folks, before I go here, I'm going to see if there's anyone else I can host and throw all of these wonderful, wonderful viewers in here. So again, my name is Phil Gallagher. I run ThrabenU University, and if you enjoyed my content today, please follow, and if you really like what I'm doing and you want to support me, please subscribe. It means a lot. to have people who are helping me do what I can do. We've come a whole long way since we started this stream a while back. All right, I don't see anyone playing some Legacy, so I'm going to go ahead and just call it here. I'll see many of you later this afternoon, and enjoy your holiday. I'll probably be back in an hour or so.